Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, that was my bad. I did nothing wrong with the playlist, like I said I did. I totally screwed up and forgot to do something here. So that was my bad. Well, it was my bad, but in a different way. Different than I originally thought. Anyway, yeah, now that I'm sort of back on track here, thank you, Christian, for pointing that out. Now I feel like totally silly. And, hopefully I won't make that mistake again. But at any rate, welcome to Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And of course, as always, my name is Shane Nikolic, and I'm here to bring positivity and gratitude. And this morning, I guess I will. I'll continue with where I was. I don't have a guest lined up this morning, so I'm going to be reading from the Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard, 9 Declarations to Claim Your Personal Power. Why I have to look at the cover every time, I don't know. I should have it friggin' memorized, right? But at any rate, I'm just going to continue where I left off in the middle of the section called We Shall Defeat Our Demons. And so here we go. The enemy within. It is impossible to fight an unknown enemy. So let us first give our challenger a name. As it stands in the way of our own will to advance in life, we shall name it defiance. To dramatize its effect and our battle against it, we will also give it a shape, a form that we can visualize and seek to destroy. Imagine defiance as an ugly 3-headed serpent that stirs deep in our gut whenever we want to take a risk. When this brood squirms, we feel anxiety in our stomach, that awful sense that we are not enough or things might turn out terribly. Its movements make us worry ourselves sick. It makes us feel so weak and distrustful that we stop taking action or connecting with others. It is the organism within that acts from our lowest impulses for self-protection. No one escapes life without fighting this beast. The woman who never starts her own business because of constant terror is in its grasp. The poor fellow who starts and stops action all his life, never gaining real momentum toward his goals, is being wrecked by it. The poor fellow who starts and stops action all his life, never gaining real momentum toward his goals, is being wrecked by it. The egotistical business person who sees his teammates as idiots or competitors is being seduced by it. Anytime we set a higher ambition for ourselves, this nasty beast gnaws at us from within, tearing at our confidence and consuming us from the inside out, leaving us fearful and gutless. Where did defiance come from, and how did it gain its power? It grew from the seeds of fear fed to us by the tyrants of the world, the cautioners who taught us to favor doubt over faith, the apathetic followers who showed us how to favor delay over action, the cruel who fooled us into choosing artificiality and social withdrawal over authenticity and the desire to approach. In the end, they were one and the same. Fearmongers all, tyrants who sowed the seeds of dread deep within us at an early age. The negative thoughts they planted in our heads fed the beast within, and now it grows in power whenever we hear ourselves think, I'm not good enough. I better stop doing what I love because I'm scared. I'm not worthy of trust and respect, and neither are others. The bullies of the world may have given us these thoughts, but it was our own failure to discontinue them that birthed the internal struggle we face today. With our own weakness and inattention, we have given defiance its power. As we become more aware, we learn to sense this beast as separate from our own nature. We can detect when it stirs within us, noticing a sudden wave of tension and stress in our body. We can hear its whines and roars rise from our gut into fear-sharpened thoughts. I am not sure. The timing may not be right. They won't understand me or let me win. We can realize that these feelings in our body and these sounds in our head are not our highest character, but those of an internal voice of defiance, whom we need not feed any more. Defiance can roar all at once, but we can choose to ignore it as we might a pesky yapping dog. It can shift and cause pangs of worry or hatred, but we can calm ourselves by taking control of our own thoughts and actions. With practice, we can exercise total command and silence this internal demon once and for all. Should we succeed, we shall begin to reach our full personal power. Transform doubt with faith. Defiance is a fierce foe. In order to confront it, let us get to know this foul serpent by understanding the defining character of each of its nasty heads. Let us imagine the first head of defiance to resemble that of a pale, sickly eel. We sense it as an unsure feeling in the pit of our stomach that rises until we hear an indecisive chain of thoughts in our head. Its sound in our mind is a high, familiar whine, like the voice of an old, tolerated friend who has our ear and uses it only to share her worries and insecurities. Although it may look and sound pathetic, we should not underestimate it. Its sole insidious function is to make us worry ourselves sick so that we might avoid the very risk or effort that would destroy it. For these reasons, we shall name it doubt. Doubt wakes up when we strive for anything new or better. It recognizes that in those moments when our ambition rises, its very existence is in peril. For should we rise to accomplish our goals with confidence again and again, then it might be destroyed. The only thing doubt can do to survive is avert our strength by whining and singing its pessimistic song. I'm not so sure, I'm not so sure, I'm not so sure. Okay, that didn't sound too much like a song, but there you go. Inevitably, its plaintive tones unsteady most people. They can't handle the incessant worries of doubt, and soon they are trapped in recurring negative thoughts. I'm not so sure it is time to quit my job. Maybe it's not the right time to move somewhere I would love. She'll probably say no if I ask her on a date. I don't think it's a good idea. She'll probably say no if I ask her on a date. I don't think it's a good idea to follow my passions or to strike out on my own. The precise moments when doubt begins to prevail in our lives are unpredictable. They happen when our doubting thoughts turn to real words. The moment we begin asking, "What if?" and then follow the phrase with a negative statement. What if it doesn't work out? What if I can't handle it? What if I'm not good enough? What if they don't like me? What if I lose? What if I can't turn back? What if they take advantage of me? These are questions of a mind poisoned by doubt, not of our highest self. It is the allowance and repetition of doubtful questions that stall most people from living free and fulfilling lives. There can be no real progress if we incessantly question our own course and capabilities. Yet the greatest damage from doubt isn't just what we fail to do, it is who we fail to become. We develop character only through effort, struggle, and learning, none of which we ever choose to endure when doubt has our ear. Doubt produces only small men and small women, scared of their own shadows, a world of timid worriers who never leap or serve. So what are we to do? How does one slay doubt? The great sages have taught us that when doubt has a hold on us, only faith can tear us from its grasp. Faith is a deep conviction, a global trust and confidence in our beliefs about what is true. The conviction comes from choice. We choose to believe something and hold on to that belief tightly. Even in the face of so many unknowns, we have faith when we have faith when we can endure sadness or suffering or loss and keep our wits about us, knowing that eventually these things shall pass and good things will return. We have faith when we believe in our capabilities to succeed. This belief needn't be overestimations of our current skill or strength. Instead, the most powerful faith in the world is the humble variety that says, I believe in my ability to learn and figure things out. With enough focus, time, effort, and dedication, I believe I can learn to do what must be done and become who I must become to achieve my dreams. If we carry on in this kind of faith to learn and live into our potential, then doubt lies sweating on its deathbed. So tonight, in the stillness and magic of the last hours, let us grab our journals and write all the reasons we have to believe in ourselves and this world once more. What have we already done in life that we didn't know we could? What reasons can we find to believe that tomorrow we will be better and the world will open up to us? Why will we continue to believe in ourselves and our dreams even amid difficult days? Yes, let us write these things. Let us force ourselves to do this seemingly simple activity now. For in writing our beliefs, faith itself is strengthened. Then, the next time doubt rears its ugly head, remember what was written. Remember what we believe. Replace its negative whining with more positive and empowering thoughts. This is the way of those who have mastered their mind. As we choose faith again and again throughout our lives, we develop a mental toughness for beating away doubt. It's as if with each firing of conviction, we forge an increasingly powerful, steeled weapon capable of piercing all negative thought. When we practice such power, it becomes something we can firmly grasp and wield in times of need and anxiety. Soon, faith is our favored weapon, and we become invincible against the darkness. We become the warriors of light, who have an unshakable sense of self and serenity, who rarely question themselves or fate, who draw luck and abundance in all they do, because they believe the universe favors those with a committed heart, and all things are unfolding exactly as it should. Transform delay with action. There is so much at stake for faith to win in our lives. For if we don't tame the crippling thoughts hatched by doubt, we awaken an even greater evil. The second serpent head of defiance, whose aim is to stop our advance by poisoning us with apathetic and resigned thought, is named after its sole miserable mission: delay. We can imagine delay's physical shape as that of a burnt orange eel with a severe face and a thunderous voice that can shake us from head to toe. If its brother doubt breeds uncertainty with its whiny song of concern, If its brother doubt breeds uncertainty with its whining song of concern, delay engenders real terror. When it strikes us, it feels as if something is ramming its head into our chest, Delay thumps us and screams at us. It calls resonating throughout our very cells. Wait, it booms. Stop, it shouts. Don't. Please, stop. You'll be hurt. You are not ready. Listen to my brother Doubt. The path is unsure. Do no more. Take no action. You will be hurt, I say, saddened, embarrassed, destroyed. Sit. Wait it out, or you are doomed. This is not the time. Delay's voice gets louder as we get closer to action. Delay makes no effort to woo or seduce us. It is a dictator of terms. Stop or be hurt. Wait or risk ruin. Presented with such dire choices, our mind rarely argues. With internal fears that we may be hurt, rejected, or ruined, why wouldn't we stop? Suddenly, moving forward sounds like suicide, and so our minds start crafting masterful arguments for justifying inaction. We become severely confident in our negativity in order to protect ourselves, saying things to ourselves and others like, well, the conditions aren't perfect yet for me to begin. You can't just rush into things, you know. And so if life is not progressing fast enough for us, delay is there. If we have been waiting and waiting for the right time to strike out on our own, to approach a potential lover, to seek a higher position, to start a new project, to actually fight for what we truly want, delay is there. It is delay that turns people of action into people of apathy and insignificance. Nothing has done more than delay to make potentially great men and women miss their moment. Knowing that we haven't spoken up when we should have, worked when we should have, fought when we should have, loved when we should have, lived when we should have. This is the misery of mankind's inaction, of delay celebrating a win over the soul. So it can be said that delay is the worst of the two evils. It has destroyed more dreams than doubt ever could. For even with doubt awakened and worrying our soul, we can at least act with valor and swiftness when at our best. But we cannot and will not act if delay is But we cannot and will not act if delay is running our conscience. But there is hope. There always is. Like doubt has its antidote, so too does delay. The poisons of fear, apathy, and indolence spread by delay can be wiped out with the antidote of decisive action. When we take the initiative despite the trumped-up desires to wait it out in fear, when we pick up the phone to make that important call, walk over to the table to talk to that cute stranger, enroll in that new course, take that risk. These things set off an internal tidal wave of power that subjugates our meeker impulses. Taking decisive action is freeing ourselves from delay. Destiny turns its favor toward those who act, awarding them with success and a heroic recognition in life. Is it not true that we would have no heroes if, in the moment they were called to action, they decided to wait? All greatness teeters on whether a hero overcomes the terror within and advances regardless. The Olympian who trips during the race but gets up and catches up. The bystander who is afraid of the rushing waters but jumps in to save the drowning girl. The whistleblower who knows he'll be fired for calling it a wrong but speaks up anyway. Heroism is taking action to do important things even when we are afraid. Cowardice is acting in accordance to our fears when our heart wishes to see us behave more nobly or more nobly and courageously. The hope of humanity rests on whether or not action overrides fear and apathy. So let all this waiting for everything to be perfect, all this creating excuses for why we must delay our own dreams, all this nonsense about why we don't deserve it right now, fall to the wayside. Let action plow through our hesitancies. We must do the things that we have put off and most fear doing, and we must do them now. Let us sit this very night and compose a list of things we have been delaying in our lives. What have we yet to begin? Where did we stall our next move because of delay, and what must be done to pick up the torch of progress once more? Being keen to these types of questions makes us stronger men and women. Having a plan and acting on it to advance our lives, regardless of the terror within, makes us legend. Transform division with love. If worry and waiting were not misery enough, the third serpent head of defiance. If worry and waiting were not misery enough, the third serpent head of defiance acts to ensure we suffer alone. This one poisons us with the venom of separation, making our blood and our behavior run cold. It makes us distant, intolerant, or hateful toward others. It inflates our ego to feel different than others, more special, stronger, or weaker than they. This demon is more self-assured and sinister than its brethren. Let us imagine it as an eyeless, jet-black serpent head. Its goal is to shred our humanity by making us go blind to the good in others. We'll name it division. Division attacks our hearts and is the reason for a sickened society. Whenever we refuse to feel vulnerable or loving toward another, this is division at work. And whenever we feel that everyone around us is an idiot, insufficient, or unworthy of trust or respect, this is division once more. All of our social angst and intolerances stem from division. That loneliness, disconnection, fear, or anger toward others is a result of its poisons corrupting our mind and humanity. As division is devoid of empathy or sympathy for others, its ultimate victory is the moment when we no longer see one another's humanity, when we objectify, dismiss, or disregard another individual's value and rights. Its ugliest form is to blame for the wars, the rapes, the brutality, the darkest stains on humankind's history. In everyday life, this demon is most noticeable when it sparks our impatience, contempt, and withdrawal. Its toxins make us feel high-minded and pretentious, as if we should live above and insulated from others, as if we were somehow more special than our brothers, sisters, friends, and associates. Criticism, nitpicking, disparagement, and wrath become our tools for relating to those stronger or weaker than we perceive ourselves. We can also sense it easily when we become judgmental or cannot safely feel love for another nor sense oneness with them. This is the mother with an extraordinary daughter who sees only her flaws. The impatient boss who thinks everyone is stupid and slow. The man who never loves because he thinks he's too weird or different from the norm. Division's poison, then, is antisocial venom that courses through us and clouds the innate emotional, social, and spiritual intelligence that would otherwise lead us universally to connection with others and to love. Division, then, is the great destroyer of our relationships, the breeder of all social ills, and the cause for our indifference and aloofness toward others. Even if we should find the inner strength and resolve to banish doubt and delay from our lives, our destiny will still fall if we let division have its way. Without social care and connection, even faith and action can become corrupt or inadequate. This is the confident, successful man who ends up alone and regretful, triumphant in achievement, but trailing the wreckage of failed marriages and friendships. We see it in the tale of the woman who, instead of finding sisterhood, finds jealousy and bitterness among her peers. It's the child who shuts down, becomes violent, and ends up in prison because he couldn't find connection and compassion for others. What can be done? We must inject into our lives the strongest anti-venom known to humankind, the cure of all evils and pains, the divine course that speeds all recovery and fuels all of humanity's hope and strength and joy. Love. Love is the antidote to division. Its warm intent flows through our veins and floods the chasms between us, sweeping away the detritus of judgment, anger, and hatred. That's a $10 word, detritus. Anyway, yeah. The more we open the floodgates, the more power we have. In our opening to love, all the chemicals of evil and discord are washed away, and the inner serpent of solitude along with them. Who have we been avoiding or mistreating because of division? What parts of ourselves have we shut down out of fear that we would be deemed too different, unworthy, or unlovable? We must be aware enough to answer such questions and mature enough to seek resolution. Fortunately, love is in our nature and the most abundant resource in the universe, for it's created and lives in all things. All we must do now is allow it back into our lives and direct it toward others. Unlike faith and action, ingredients willed to life by our choice, love lives both within and beyond us. Love is everywhere, the divine's cosmic thread, woven through all that we see and sense. As we learn to follow and pull from this common thread, we recognize the oneness of which we are all part. We see that we are all made of the same purity, fighting the same demons, marching in our own ways to our own freedoms, all journeying back to love. Love completes our healing, for we can have all the faith and action in the world, but without love there is no strength. It is love that gives faith its raw and divine powers, love that causes us to be courageous, to take actions that we would never take for ourselves. When love springs unfiltered from our hearts, then the last impulse of defiance is vanquished. Love is always the final and most complete cure to our inner demons. The Sword of Courage. We know defiance and its 3 serpent heads. We now know defiance and its 3 serpent heads. Doubt questions our worth and course of action. Delay breeds indolence. Division closes the mind and heart. In one creature, we find the cause of most human misery, for it is the lack of certainty, activity, and humanity that derails our destiny. It would be naive to believe that we can ever vanquish defiance once and for all. Even if we defeat it in the moments that matter most in our lives, and this we must do, it will still return. Defiance is a noxious weed planted in us by society in constant dis-ease, often germinating from our own insecurity and neglect. It grows fast and keeps returning, sending out its brambles and runners throughout our lives. The only sure method of eradication is our constant persistence in pulling it out by its roots. This is an effort we must commit to, and then recommit to daily. Happily, we know we are able to beat defiance back with faith, action, and love. Just as we have given defiance form, we can do the same for our weapon against it. Let us imagine our one needed weapon against our internal terrors as the sword of courage. It is a sword of unbending steel forged from that remarkable triumvirate. There's another $10 word. Thanks, Brendon. It is a sword of unbending steel forged from that remarkable triumvirate, a strong hilt formed by faith, and an indestructible blade of action on one edge and love on the other. Let us remember this image of courage the next time defiance resists our progress, and use it to overpower the enemy. The moments we are able to wield courage are the moments that become the most defining in our lives. All great people of history, all the heroes and leaders and innovators who lit humanity's way out of darkness and ignorance, forged within themselves the courage to overcome their inner conflicts when it mattered most. In many ways, they are just like us. They worried. They procrastinated. They sometimes had lower opinions of fellow human beings. But what made them celebrated? What pushed society forward? What gave birth to their legend was their sheer will to overcome such impulses and to faithfully, actively, and lovingly fight for a better life for themselves and others. Let us learn from them. Let us master ourselves, and let us now add our chapter of courage to the good book of humanity. And I got some time here. I guess I'll something. Something in there clicked, and I was gonna talk on it for a minute, but I don't know. I have a bookmark in there, but don't see what I was looking at on the page. Yeah, but it's like we shall defeat our demons. With is the name of that the declaration that entire section was on. And it's just looking inside ourselves, finding that which holds us back and moving past it, those demons that hold us back, and just figuring out what they are and moving past them. Where is it? Yeah, beating defiance back with faith, action, and love, and ultimately the sword of courage, and just breaking through all that garbage and moving on. And I don't know. I'm excited to read this next chapter, or this next section, next Declaration 4, on next week's episode. I might start it over then, but I'll just start it now because I'm just excited to get going with it. Declaration 4: we shall advance with abandon. Unless anyone objects, and I don't see anyone else here, so I'm going to go ahead. Declaration 4. We shall advance with abandon. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. And that's from William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. As we overcome fear and defeat our internal demons, we must recalibrate our entire mindset toward advancement. Ours must become a life of courageous action and perpetual progress. The majority of the world's people are not advancing at the speed of which they are capable. They have not sought self-mastery, and so they lack the personal power to direct their energies. Wrong thinking and weak wills are preventing them from extending themselves fully toward their dreams. It is like watching a cheetah stroll lazily all its life, never powerfully stretching and leaping at the staggering speed within its potential. To reclaim our power, we must seek an immediate shift in our belief about how influential we can be in shaping our reality. We must understand that nothing in life, including our circumstances or potential, is fixed. Instead, we must believe that we can bend reality to our own preferences, crafting the lives we desire through disciplined learning and initiative. We mustn't wait for permission. We mustn't wait for permission or perfect timing any longer. Instead, we must be courageous and self-reliant, moving forward at a moment's notice. We must see struggle as positive and necessary for our growth and ability to innovate and serve. And we must know all that we need is accessible in the now. There is abundance in this world to be had, and everything we need to begin the great quest toward a free and fulfilling life is already within us. Should we live from these beliefs, then we shall reach levels of motivation Should we live from these beliefs, then we shall reach levels of motivation and happiness undreamed of by the timid masses. Our challenge is that we have been conditioned to believe the opposite of these things, that bold action or swift progress is somehow dangerous or reckless. But a certain degree of insanity or recklessness is necessary to advance or innovate anything, to make any new or remarkable or meaningful contributions. What great thing was ever accomplished without a little recklessness? So-called recklessness was required for the extraordinary to happen: crossing the oceans, ending slavery, rocketing man into space, building skyscrapers, decoding the genome, starting new businesses, and innovating entire industries. It is reckless to try something that has never been done, to move against convention, to begin before all conditions are good and preparations are perfected. But the bold know that to win, one must first begin. They also deeply understand that a degree of risk is inevitable and necessary should there be any real reward. Yes, any plunge into the unknown is reckless, but that's where the treasure lies. Sadly, even intelligent conversations about success today are shrouded in limiting advice. How many people have lost all grand ambitions for change and greatness by heeding the advice of the realists and the standard bearers of the status quo, who tell us to set safe and smart goals. But smart goals always end up being small goals, utterly predictable and absurdly measured, small plans for small people who need certainty Okay, let me start that one over. But SMART goals almost always end up being small goals, utterly predictable and absurdly measured small plans for small people who need certainty and safety to such a degree they cannot wade into the wide territory of the unknown where real vision and progress lives. No great innovation or human leap forward came from a predictable path or an idea that was immediately attainable or realistic. It's rare that these types of goals ever spark the imagination or fire the will of the human spirit. We live in a culture flooded with tasks and spreadsheets and work plans that inspire no heart, no drive, no courage. Should we want true change and a life of our own, we must not, under any circumstances, allow ourselves to settle on a vision or a calling or a change in any arena that is contrived by popular opinion versus our own heart. A truly free person does not fear bringing forth a desire that is unbounded and even scares them a little bit. Something that will demand the best of themselves, that might rattle them, but take them out of their own orbit and into the stratosphere of the remarkable. Our destiny hinges on a mindset for bold action. We gain power from again and again allowing ourselves to choose the kind of recklessness that allows us to be vulnerable, genuine, and brave in the pursuit of our dreams. When our hearts yearn for action and growth, we should care little about what society says is possible or prudent. Let us judge for ourselves what is worth the risk. Let us decide what progress really means in life, as it surely means more than inching along like snails. Let us decide to take our first steps without knowing. Yeah, sorry, I was going off on something else. Something else I've read before. Let us decide to take our first steps without knowing how the journey will turn out. If that defines us as reckless and crazy, then let us accept that. Then let us accept that fate and celebrate the fact that we shall not be cowards. Let us declare, we shall advance with abandon. Just going back over that, it's like, we shall advance with abandon. And it's like, in the past, years before I even thought of writing my autobiography, Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling and Survive. Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling for Survival is the name of my autobiography, if you don't already know. And, it's like, before I even had the thought of writing my autobiography, writing a book, writing my life story there, it's like, the thought had come to mind plenty of times over the years of, becoming an author and writing a book, and reading all the books I've read in my life, of course the thought had come to mind, hey, that would be cool to write a book like this, or write a book, period. Write a book about, something familiar to me. But I was always, I don't know, be it society or just be it my own negativity, coming into play, I, never moved forward with that. Never moved forward with writing a book because and the thoughts, I had these thoughts of, well, maybe not, maybe these guys went to school, went to college, and, and got writing degrees or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I was, because of my brain injury, because of this, because of that, I, just never felt 100% that I was good enough, that I, could actually do that. And then, I did, just like in here, like he says, just start. We shall advance with abandon. And, that's just like, something comes to mind, something Gary Vee has said before, there's just one thing you got to do, and that's just start. If you're nervous about starting, if you're worried about what might happen, just start. Don't worry about it. Just do it. Just take that first step, and it gets easier as you continue. Well, as it's worked for me, it's gotten easier as I keep taking steps. I mean, it's like I was offered an opportunity to be on a radio show on this at this radio station, and it's like, so I decided to take that step and be interviewed with promoting my book. And then I was on that day I was offered the opportunity to have my own show. So I thought, well, okay, I have this podcast I'm doing on my phone, I can move that over there, so I just took that step, and it just keeps rolling forward, and just everything, life is like that, we just take that next step, keep moving forward, and it keeps evolving, keeps getting better, and the vast majority of the time, things we thought were hard to do or hard to get through, they're fairly easy, once we started taking steps, in that direction. And, just got to get rid of those demons, as in the last declaration, we shall defeat our demons. Move past that and advance. You get to the next declaration, Declaration 4. We shall advance with abandon, and that's where I'm at. Advancing with abandon, and yeah. I don't know. That's about where I'm at with that. Because it's like, if I wasn't advancing with abandon, I'd still be sitting at home, listening to podcasts and watching guys, watching videos of guys on their podcasts, and, thinking, oh, that's cool that they're doing that, but I could never do that, The truth is, here I sit, doing that exact thing. And, it's like, in the past I thought distance runners were crazy. Now I've gotten out there and run, half marathons and marathons, and, I haven't yet completed a 50 miler, but, I have run 43 3/4 miles at a stint. And, it's like things we think are impossible are only impossible because we're, who knows? Maybe maybe some things could be impossible for us. But if we never take that first step, it's like, sure, they'll remain impossible forever so long as we don't take that first step. If we take that first step, start moving in that direction, then, it becomes slightly possible. As we keep taking steps, it becomes more possible. And as we finish, and complete the task, or, do the thing, it's like, oh, wow, that wasn't really impossible. I did it. And, yeah, I guess that's about all I got for today. Just wanted to, bring in positivity in this book, The Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard is the book that got me fired up to write my own manifesto, write my own autobiography, and write my life story out, share my story, since people have told me throughout my life it's inspiring. So I figured I'd put it down in print and, put in there, I put in my book, my manifesto, my goal, my dream, which was to, move forward and become a speaker. And I'm not really, technically a speaker as of yet. Got some work to do there, got some ground to move forward on, but I'm doing this podcast, so I'm working on it, and so that's about all I got for today, this week, what have you, and I guess that's about it. So with that, I guess I'll wrap it up just by saying, stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, and have a phenomenal day and week. Until next time, ciao.